few years ago, I was involved in leading a project of creating an interdisciplinary curriculum for students in an urban slum. We had like a very short period of time to do this, and we did a lot of technology driven sort of programs for them. And I remember that eventually at the end of the program, I mean, people did very well in their exams. The creativity and the learning of it definitely happened, but the social reality of some of those students were such that they had to drop out even after passing the exams. And I remember that it was a very big blow for me, because we felt that, you know, we did so much and then this is not going to go like forward. Instead of me trying to have a motivating conversation with one of the students who was very bright and whose education was stopped in between, she's the one who actually came and sort of consoled me and said that, why do you think the learning that we have got through the design of your program is futile just because I'm not getting any more education? Because what I have learned is so much that it's enough for this lifetime of mine to take me forward. So this is a very, very big learning for me, and I think it created a major shift in my own perspective of how I would define what is success in a design intervention. The value of any education, whether it's art education, design education, or any other form of education, is when you have shifts in perspectives, shifts in your positions, shifts in your own ways of looking at your own self before looking at somebody else. And I feel that human touch is what I saw in most of the case studies. You know, it definitely talked about a new way of sense making, and of course a new way of sense making is one of the trends that you will see in the AIGA Designer 2025. But I think the examples that we saw in this workshop did not just talk about sense making at a space where you are assigning meaning to data, but that meaning making process enables some kind of change. Sometimes those changes were outside, and a lot of times the changes were inside, and that is really, really like I think and that's really nice to see for me. I think everybody should do. I genuinely feel, because I have seen it in my own practice. You know, when we are talking about enabling students for the future is uncertain, it's ambiguous, it's unpredictable, you know, like when you're creating that kind of a framework so that people can navigate through unpredictability, uncertainty, complexity, then we can't create compartments and say that in only a particular class I'm going to bring in this kind of complexity, the other classes will be A, B, C, D, E, F, you know, like just like that in a linear kind of fashion. So I think this basically talks about a holistic approach, and to me, as somebody who genuinely believes in holistic education of any sort, I can't say that only in visual communication design or in product design or in systems and services design this can be used. I think it can be used, or rather it should be used in anything, any form of design education for that matter. I feel as designers or design educators, people often talk about creativity in their own forms and in their own work, but when it comes to teaching or when it comes to research, people lose that creativity. And I saw it was a very good example of how design principles could be used in even something as data gathering in a meaningful way. I think there was a very interesting connection that I saw in the workshop amongst the concept of the workshop, the construct of the workshop, and the context of the workshop, you know. And I think that balance which was being woven around by design is what is my takeaway from the workshop.